happen. I can tell you that there's nobody at this table or in this place today or was at the demonstration this morning that has any intention of softening our tone, of dumbing down our rhetoric, of running away from the facts, and or of breathing in diesel fumes when the trains start running. So if this government thinks that somehow they're going to buy quietude on the western and northwestern front leading up to the election, they're absolutely and completely incorrect. Nobody's going to be quiet. The same people that have been demonstrating and writing petitions will continue to demonstrate and write petitions because, quite frankly, absolutely nothing has changed with these announcements. Absolutely nothing. And I see we have a person in the press. Welcome.
I was watching.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, no problem. So if you would like to ask questions now, feel free.
A couple things. They say these trains are convertible, aren't they? Convertible to electric?
Mike?
I asked specifically if the Metrolinx's officials, some time ago, if these particular trains were being purchased with a conversion option. In other words, the manufacturer will take them back and put in an electric motor instead of the diesel motor, and the answer was no. What they will do at some point in the future is go out to tender to the world and say, please, somebody, can you make this train electric? There is no plan. I would imagine they've had conversations with the manufacturer to say, can this diesel motor be taken out and an electric one put in? And the answer, the manufacturer will say yes. But they have no plan to convert these trains. They have an imagination that they will put it out to tender at some point in the future to the electrification people, whoever those people are, and say, please convert my trains. There haven't been convertible trains in the world. Like this is a new thought, and so the experience in the world with converting trains from diesel to electric is limited or zero. I've never heard of it.
So therefore we have no idea what it would cost to convert.
Absolutely no idea
Or
what it
whether
would
it
cost.
could be done.
Right.
And
Yeah, I mean, they're in conversations with Sumitomo, not us. So Sumitomo the Japanese firm, can probably tell them, here's what you have to do. You take this out and you put this in. But what's the cost of that? And is it cost effective? Would it be cheaper? And one of them just this week, one of the Metrolinx vice presidents said, we might not even convert them. We might just buy new cars, buy new trains. So why are we buying these if we're not going to use them? I mean, it's
Kathleen Wynne this morning used the term aspirational, that which I love in this context. That electrifying trains is an aspirational ambition.
Yeah. If you also take it to higher level, they keep talking about tier 2, tier 4, clean diesel. Clean diesel is like clean coal technology and unicorns. It doesn't exist, right? Electrical trains are clean.
to what extent, you can actually direct this question not to Cheri, although I'm sure Cheri has to what extent do you attribute the flurry of announcements in the last week or so on this to the Liberals' concern over Davenport and York Southwestern as seats that are vulnerable?
I would suspect they're very concerned about them. Those seats were won by very few votes in the last election. And this is an issue that rings in those ridings. And this issue, both those sitting MPPs are vulnerable to this issue. And so I think maybe they think, but by putting off a decision to another environmental assessment for another year or however long it takes before they come up with another decision to delay still further, that somehow the populace will think that the government's on their side. We know the people better. We're out there talking to them. People are really concerned about the level of pollution in Toronto and don't want more of it. And understand that Metrolinx's plans are for a lot of diesel trains, not just the air rail link. And unless you actually start the process of electrification, actually start putting wires up and buying electric trains, people aren't going to believe these aspirational suggestions of the Minister of Transportation.
But to Cheri's point, it's spin. If you read the press release that came out 30 minutes ago, I didn't read one thing that said they were purchasing dirty diesel trains in February. So if you're the common public here in Toronto, how would you know that they're actually going to buy dirty diesel trains? They're spinning this to try and change the conversation. It's not honest, in my opinion. I think if they're planning to buy dirty diesel trains, they should tell people. Their press release talked about, yes, we're all on the bandwagon of electrical trains now. So that's not true. So we're going to be possibly living with a legacy of dirty diesel trains from now till 2025 or whenever they decide to spend more of our money in a bad way.
So what do you need to see to be persuaded that this train line will indeed be electrified? Do you need some sort of promise to spend the money? What do you need?
Well, the first thing would be a decision not to purchase those diesel trains.
Yeah, exactly.
If Metrolinx was told by the Premier's office today, do not buy Sumitomo diesel trains. Instead, start negotiating a contract for electric trains, and let's see how fast we can get them up and running. If we can get them up and running for the Pan Am, we think you can. If you can get them up and running for the Pan Am, great. If you can't, Pan Am's not a good enough excuse to spend another $500 million or whatever the difference is going to be. It's not good enough. I mean, Mayor Ford is upset enough about an extra $40 million that the city's on the hook for. We should be upset about
Of course.
$500 million that is an extra cost because of Pan Am. It's just crazy.
And these are supposed to be the greenest of green games. There's a huge irony there. And again, every other cosmopolitan area has done the opposite, has invested in electric, has not invested in diesel. So why are we? This has always been the question. It was in question for 7 years. I mean, for 7 years, this conversation has been going on to some degree. And for 7 years, we've been met with spin and wait and delays. And now the crunch has come. The crunch being they're about to purchase something that probably will be very difficult to get out of if they sign on the dotted line. And we have to try to prevent that.
My last question, then. The one thing that it seems that Minister Wynne was definitive about in her scrum today was that the line will not be electrified by 2015. So.
And we believe it could have been, maybe still can be, if smarter heads had been in place 2 years ago when we first started asking the question of Metrolinx, why aren't you studying electric now? We think that political imperatives make things happen that people say can't happen. If you tell Metrolinx has now been told they have to have trains running by 2015. They know that that's a tall order to get all those bridges constructed and the tunnels built and the rest. If they were told, and they have to be electric, they'd find a way to get it done.
This is Canada, you know. We built a railroad through the Rocky Mountains with a pick and a shovel. So come on. Let's get real here. They do this in every world-class city. We have the leading people in electric train technology in this country. We have great engineers. We can make this happen. And you know what? If it's not by 2015, do you think we can really not shuttle people by bus from the airport on their private lanes in a limo? I'll drive them to their venues. Right? It's ridiculous.
I mean, I think it was either Stephen or Mike who made the point that, you know, for other games, hybrid buses have been an alternative. I mean, really what is being invested in here is something that's going to affect the neighborhoods they run through for decades, forever. We've got TDSB coming out against diesel trains because it's going to run past schools, past parks. Think what it's going to do to property values of people who live close to that. I mean, I have a lot of people in my riding who are pretty upset that they just bought a new condo and their new condo looks out over the tracks. And all of a sudden, instead of 40 trains a day, 200 trains a day will be going past, and they'll be diesel. This is shameful. So that's where we're at. Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cheri.